You ever wonder why a coworker who's usually pretty cool just suddenly seems rude? Or why some offices just have this, tense vibe? Well, a new study has dug into the psychology of all this, and it's uncovered a pretty surprising chain reaction that starts with something most of us just brush off, the silent treatment. Oh, you know the feeling. You walk in, say good morning, and just crickets. Or you jump into a conversation and it just fizzles out. You pitch an idea in a meeting and it's like you're talking to a brick wall. It's a brutal feeling, right? Well, it turns out that feeling is very, very real. Research actually shows that being ignored is a huge source of stress. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about hurt feelings. There's this hidden pathway that can actually turn the person being ignored into the one being rude. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to get clear on two key ideas: workplace ostracism and workplace incivility. They might sound kind of the same, but trust me, the difference between them is everything. So first up is ostracism. It's a fancy word, but it just means being ignored or left out. It's not about what people do to you, it's about what they don't do. It's the total absence of social connection when you'd normally expect it. So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it's your hellos being met with total silence. It's colleagues literally turning their backs on you when you approach. It's being very obviously and intentionally left out of the loop. Basically, you're being treated like a ghost. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about incivility. This is the stuff we all recognize right away as just plain rudeness. It's that low-level negative behavior where, maybe they didn't mean to cause harm, but the disrespect is loud and clear. And the examples here are things like someone making a little belittling comment about your work, talking down to you like you're a kid, or that person who just always interrupts you when you're trying to speak. These are active negative things. So here's the absolute key difference. Let's nail this down. Ostracism is the absence of something. It's the silent treatment. Incivility is the presence of something. It's being actively rude. And getting that distinction is the key to understanding this whole chain reaction. So the big question is, how does being ignored, this absence of action, somehow lead to active rudeness? It seems like a huge leap, right? Well, let's follow the psychological breadcrumbs that the researchers uncovered. Now, this quote, this really gets to the heart of how painful being ignored is. It points to this kind of shocking idea that for a lot of people, being yelled at or even physically attacked can feel better than being completely invisible. Think about that. Any attention, even negative attention, feels better than no attention at all. That's how deeply we are wired to be seen. So here it is, the toxic pathway the study confirmed. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, it all starts with being ostracized. Step 2, that constant feeling of being ignored starts to build up all these negative emotions. We're talking stress, anger, anxiety, you name it. And those feelings have to go somewhere, right? They start to boil over. And that leads to step 3. The person who is ignored lashes out. They commit their own acts of incivility. They become rude because they were first made to feel invisible. And just so you know, this isn't just some abstract theory. These findings came from data on 315 professionals in the service industry. So yeah, this is a real thing happening in real workplaces. Okay, so we've got a direct line from being ignored to being rude. And honestly, that sounds pretty bleak. But here's the good news. The research didn't stop there. It also found something really powerful that can actually break this toxic chain. Let's meet the hero of this story. It's called Perceived Organizational Support, or POS for short. And all that means is, do you believe that the company you work for actually values you and genuinely cares about how you're doing? It's that feeling that, yeah, my organization has my back. Honestly, the best way to think about it is as a kind of psychological shield. It's like emotional armor. When you feel like your company supports you, you're just better protected from all the negative junk that can happen at work, like being ostracized. And this graph from the study is the smoking gun. This is the proof. See, for people who feel like their company doesn't support them, those negative emotions, the anger and stress, they shoot way up and turn directly into rude behavior. But look at that top line. For the people who do feel supported, it's so much flatter. It means even when they're feeling stressed or angry, they are way less likely to lash out and be uncivil. That support acts like a buffer. It literally breaks the chain reaction. So let's bring it all home. What's the bottom line here? What should we all take away from this? Well, first, ignoring your colleagues is not a harmless little thing. It's a key ingredient for creating a toxic work culture. Second, when you see a coworker being rude, maybe it's not just that they're a jerk. It could be a huge red flag that they're feeling totally isolated. And finally, and this is the big one for any managers or leaders out there, creating a supportive culture where people feel valued, that's not just some nice, fluffy HR thing. It's a core strategic defense that actively stops rudeness in its tracks and protects your whole team. So, this all leaves us with one last, pretty important question to think about. When you look at your own office, your own team, is its culture acting like a shield, protecting people from this cycle? Or is it maybe, without even realizing it, just another link in the chain, letting that silence fester into rudeness?